there's Foster out there. Where's Mick Aussie? Let's bring Mick in. Mick, I want to ask you, Mick, have you ever met like Eddie Betts or any of these guys? You ever met like a big AFL legend before that was like a real jerk in real life? They were like, oh man, like this guy's like a lot meaner than I thought he was going to be. Are AFL players nice guys, or will they tell you to screw off and want to punch you in the face?
Well, generally, I think they're nice guys, but obviously some of them, the money and the getting the hot women goes to their head. But Kevin Sheedy would be the greatest one I've ever met and interviewed. Legend coach of the Essendon Bombers, legend player for Richmond. So Kevin Sheedy, and he promotes international football as much as anyone. Well, you and I and Mason Cox as well. There you go.
Yeah, boy, Mason Cox. All right, so we got to start off. What do you think of all the orange here? I got
wow.
Phoenix Suns.
Ready
what do you think?
ready.
What do you think of Dave's sweater? Not bad, huh?
Yeah,
that's fantastic. And the Broncos orange as well, Dave. Good on you, mate. But Oilers, they got to win tomorrow night. They don't want to go down 0-2 against Vegas. They got to win.
Mick, are the expectations up there like through the roof? Like, are they just? Is everybody up there? Is it a failure if they don't make it to the Stanley Cup? I mean, like that's pretty much the expectations at this point, right?
Yes, I believe you are right because we have such a good team. We really do. Now, the goaltending is question remarkable. Of course it is. The Catman Campbell might get his chance soon. Skinner's okay, but, he's done well. But, whoa, letting in 6 goals, that's not great. They're just happy to have a team here. They absolutely love it as much as any sports city in the world loves their team. It's mayhem downtown. There's craziness. Going to watch the game, sitting in the arena when they're not even playing. They pay $5. It goes to charity. It sells out in 10 minutes.
Yeah, Dave.
The street parties are nuts.
There's no other city like you can't compare. Montreal's crazy and like every sports bar and stuff, but Edmonton, the arena is sold out, Dave.
To watch
on
the
road.
Yes.
And on top of that, outside the arena, there's another like 10,000 of them. And then there's another like downtown like party zone. Dead serious. Yeah, Dave, the arena is sold out. Yeah, when they're not playing. They're not playing. And then
they sell
the
refreshments
outdoor
and stuff?
viewing
like
party is
you
packed.
Get hot dogs and drinks and stuff in there while you're watching a game?
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
They give the money to charity.
That's awesome. That's great.
Well, it's good for families and that, right? You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I'd rather sit at home
I'm thinking the same thing.
Bar.
Feels like you're at
Doesn't
the
mean
game,
they're going to win
but you're
tomorrow.
watching. It doesn't.
So let me ask you.
Those weren't all.
I want them
Skinner's
to win
fault.
too. I want them to win. I just think I can see the Oilers lose it again tomorrow. They're going to lose tomorrow, Mick. And then they better win game 3 at home, bro. I'm just preparing you for the letdown tomorrow night in Edmonton when you're out having some drinks. Right? So, Mick, you must have seen this on the news in Edmonton. I'm not in Edmonton, but I follow all this NHL stuff. Edmonton Oilers season ticket holders Rob and Lena Kinsey will incur an extra $4,000 in flight and hotel costs because the NHL changed the schedule of the game. We got some other poor bastard that can only go to the first period because his flight, he can't get a flight out any other time.
That's terrible.
Other people, yeah, and you know what sucks? These season ticket holders, too, that are, they paid the extra $4K to stay in Vegas, but they can't get a flight back out, and now they have to give away their Monday ticket for the home game. Like, it's just like there's so many of these little personal stuff I'm reading here. Like, it's a list of like individual, just like screw job stories of people. Like, I'd just be livid too, like, if this happened. But honestly, I also want to say, like, I do a lot of these trips. Don't book like right before and right after.
Right. Leave yourself.
You know what I mean, Dave? Like, yeah. Like,
right?
Don't say, you know what, the game's at 8 tonight, so why don't we leave at noon, honey? And why don't we get that first flight right after the game? It's like, well, if there's one delay or anything happens, your trip is screwed. Like, right? So
flying
like,
ain't the biggest bargain either.
I always
right
do.
now, right?
There's a rule the band Kiss had, right? The band Kiss, whenever they were on tour and stuff, and they were in a different city and something happened, if you were going to fly commercial, right? If you were going to fly a commercial flight, you had to do it a day before the show, Dave. So let's say you're in Kiss and you're in LA, and they're like, all right, listen, we have a show in Detroit on Wednesday. You have to like leave on Tuesday. Like, you know what I mean? You can't leave on Wednesday in case something happens, right? Yeah, anyone, it's just common sense. But now these people are getting screwed over. An Edmontonian named Cameron, who declined to give his full name. What, Cameron Stewart? And a message that he had a friend hotel booked in Vegas to see game 2 only. And now he has to spend an extra $1,400 on flights and hotels to watch one game. And they're going to lose tomorrow. It's going to be even worse for these poor people. That's why I'm telling you. Nothing good happens to Canadian hockey fans, Mick. Yes, I do know this. These poor people paid thousands of dollars. Their team will not win. They're going to go home sad.
First of all, they're obviously not poor if they're just flying to Vegas at the last minute, and maybe they're all going down to see Dave Sherapan, maybe. But what I'm thinking is, you know what? I feel sorry for some of them, but I don't feel sorry for the rich young oil kids making big money and then wasting $5,000 on 3 days in Vegas. I don't feel sorry for them. But you know what I think of Gary Bettman? So not
everybody
flop.
that went there is some like, what do you think? They're all like Elon Musk? Like, they're just normal people. Like, they took a flight to Vegas.
Mick, do you feel sorry
now
for the
they're
Maple
paying
Leafs?
thousands because they're stuck. They didn't want to pay thousands. They're stuck.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree on that.
What do you think about the Maple Leafs, Mick? I mean, because the
Richard
dream up in Canada is that, you know, you get a Canadian
hates
final,
the Maple Leafs.
Toronto, Edmonton. You don't feel bad for Maple Leafs fans or anything? Like, Gabe just said they're going to come back. My daughter was heartbroken. She's kind of adopted the Leafs as her team. She likes the uniform. She watches the show. She thinks Cam's funny. She says, I'll root for the Leafs. But, like, they're done, right? Are they done?
No, it's only 0-2, but hey, good on your daughter supporting the Leafs. It's the nice colours, but too many fans have annoyed me over the years. They drive me nuts. They carry on like idiots. And as I said, they haven't won anything since 67. So, but no, they're not done. Of course they're not. They're a good team. I've got to admit that.
We got Mick Aussie back in the house. Dave Sherapan kicking with us. So, Mick, let's get after it here. What do you like this week in the AFL? Mick Aussie.
I like a lot of the teams on the plus, actually, but my best bets would probably be the Collingwood Magpies to win and win well over the Sydney Swans. They're going a bit rough, but the Crows blew it last week. They were up all game and lost by 1 point, so I was mad. And I like the Giants to cover, but I don't think they'll win. I think the Bulldogs will win. And the Bombers might cover as well, but the Port Adelaide Power will probably win that. So the only team on the minus I have is the Magpies. So for a bit of a roughie, take the plus on everyone else. But the plus minus is a bit tough in the AFL. I like the favourites to win, so some moneyline multis might do well. Take the Saints, the Tigers, and the Magpies on a multi. The Dockers, the Cats, the Demons, Power, and the Dogs. So the favourites are doing well, but there's 4 or 5 teams that are really terrible right now.
All right, so the first game up tonight for you parlay players. West Coast not beating Richmond tonight, Mick. Richmond minus 42.5. So I guess we could put Richmond in some money line parlays if we wanted to. What's your pick? And great job, guys, with the look at this, Dave. You're coming to play. How is it that our AFL graphics are better than any of our NBA or NFL?
That is fantastic work right there. I don't know who those guys are, but that's great.
This is like better than the AFL broadcast, like right there. Great job. Great job. So 42.5. What about the point spread with the West Coast Eagles tonight? They're going to get smashed again. What's your pick on this?
Oh, mate, destroyed last week over in Perth, but the Tigers are no good either. They've only had one win and one draw. So the Tigers should win, but the Eagles might push them. But like I said, the plus-minus is very tricky. But hey, the top AFL boy for international development's watching the show, so he'll love those graphics.
You know what? Well, it's fitting because the West Coast Eagles are in developmental mode right now. they're in developmental mode, falling on hard times. Like I said, Dave, this team won the championship, about 4 years ago? 3 years ago? 4 years ago? And a normal, like, you know what it's like? They're sort of like I always thought they were like the Rams, Mick. I told you that before. They're like the Rams. They even have the same colors as the Rams, but they won a championship, Dave. And they've been terrible since. They hung on to all their old players that won the championship.
No good.
And it didn't work out, and now they're screwed, and they're literally playing like just kids.
Mick, are the Dogs covering? Like a couple of weeks ago, you said the Dogs were actually either covering or winning more often than not. Is that still happening? I mean, these spreads, I just looked at a couple. They're gigantic.
Well, the update on that, the favourites have covered 30 times and not covered about 32. So there you go on the plus minus.
So the Dogs are 32 and 30.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. It's pretty close. But it was a game last night as well. So, and the overs are like 35 to 28. That's updated after round 7. Money line 40 and 22. And mine, I'm 43 and 20. And because the Crows lost last week, I lost my lead in this big competition with the USA fellas. So I'm extra mad at the Crows losing by 1 point. They kicked so bad, Gabe. Bad kicking is bad football. If I was coach, I would have had them out there for 30 hours a week just kicking goals. Terrible.
It's like hitting free throws. I don't understand some of these guys. It's nothing worse. It's exactly. It's a free kick. It's open. Like, make it.
Practice.
47-44 in a basketball game. Speaking of totals, though, guys, how the hell do we not bet the over? How do we not bet the over 166.5 in this Tigers-Eagles match tonight with Richmond and West Coast? Dave, so the total is, you don't have to be an expert, Dave, in the sport. The total is 166.5, okay?
Okay.
West Coast Eagles, in their last game, gave up 152 points.
Ouch.
Right, they scored 44.
Lot, right? That's a lot.
The game before that, they gave up 109. They lost 109 to 69. That was actually a pretty competitive match for them, like by their standards this year.
That's bad.
They lost 136 to 89. They lost 126 to 63, 108 to 67.
Oh.
So like basically, if you have a pulse and you can tie your cleats on, you should be able to, hang a lot of points on these guys. And look, they do score in between. They're getting to the 60s, Mick. This might be a night that West Coast covers, actually. But I like the game to go over. I wouldn't lay the 42.5, but I'm going to bet the over, Mick, 166.5 in this game.
Well, good luck with that. The under-overs are tricky. Look at the weather, but the Tigers are missing their.
You just said it's 35 and 28 to the over.
Right, the overs are good.
Yes, but like I said, Richmond are missing their star full forward who kicks a lot of goals, and they haven't been playing very well, so it could be an ugly, boring game. But just after that, at 10,
even more reason to take the 42.
Yeah. But just after that, the Crows are playing at 10 o'clock my time against the Geelong Cats.
All right, we're getting 28.5 points. What about the Crows and the Cats?
Well, normally you'd think the Crows were a big chance, but it's in Geelong, and they hardly ever lose there. They got the best home field advantage probably out of anyone, well, except for when your Eagles are playing well. The field is narrow, and they just seem to win there all the time. But I really give the Crows a chance. If they can kick straight, they are a chance. So the Crows on the plus, take the Cats to win it on the money line. But the young kids at the Crows, they're doing really well, Gabe. They should be about 4th position because they've lost a couple of close games, and I was so mad last weekend. I got up and stormed out when they lost by 1 point after leading the whole game in Adelaide. I was disgusted, mate. Bad kicking, terrible.
Notice Geelong have been playing to the under, tougher to score against. The Cats started off the season slow, Mick, but they've won 4 games in a row right now, so they're starting to dial things up a little bit. 28.5 is a lot of points, though. What do you make of this total? It's the same number, actually. I don't know what it is with 166.5, but it's 166.5.
Well, my mate Yank on the footy, he thinks it's going to go over, and I might be with him. It could be a high-scoring game because both teams can score. And Geelong have got one of the stars of the competition, Jeremy Cameron. He's a big fella. He kicks a lot of goals, and Adelaide can score as well. So it could go over, and it could be a really exciting game, and I hope the Crows beat them because I like the Cats, but I'm not as big a fan as what I used to be of them. But, yeah, they're a good team, the reigning premiers, the Geelong Cats. And I was there a few weeks ago outside their stadium.
All right, we'll get you out of here, Mick, but I'm going to bring up, later points. We're not a Sydney. We know, me and Dave know all about the Sydney Swans now. Dave, the Collingwood, the Magpies. Magpies are going to they're gonna kill them.
Done with that.
Lay to 50. I'm going to lay to 15.5. You know what it is on? It's 239 on the money line. I'm not kidding though. So that's Saturday night, tomorrow night. I will bet on call. You brought him up earlier, Mick. I will take Collingwood. I'll put him in money line parlays, and I'll lay the points as well, the 15.5. But I'll load up on that 239 in a parlay with something. A multi.
Yeah, Collingwood are looking good. And the other one, the Demons, Clam Chowder's team. And, hey, it's his birthday today, 62 years old. And he's the best Demons fan in North America. They're playing the Suns up there on the Gold Coast. I think the Demons will win, but the Suns are a sneaky chance as well. So I like a lot of teams on the plus this weekend.
And happy birthday to the legend, the Sports Rage Hall of Famer, Clam Chowder. We were glad to hear from him earlier in the week. He called in on Sports Rage. So look forward to seeing you, Chowder. We'll have a meet and greet, little mini road rage at Montreal for Formula One, June 17th or 18th, whatever the date is. We'll see you, Chowder. But happy birthday, Chowder. Glad you're still alive and kicking. Feel the passion. Great stuff, Mick. Feel the passion in Edmonton tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Don't get your hopes up, I'm telling you.
And tell you what, I'll have some cricket picks for you, mate. I'm doing a cricket show. 1,000 people playing cricket here tomorrow, and I'm doing a show. So I'll get you some cricket picks as well. See the shirt?
All right, yeah, we're down with cricket. We talked about that. It's cricket and their stupid tablet, how they decide things. I'm not opposed to betting on some cricket. Thanks, Mick.
All right,
see you, Mick.
Have a great weekend.